With this entire story centering around Jackie Robinson, we now turn to Robert Griffin III.
Shortly after my comments on First Take a couple of days ago, RG3 posted this on X. Quote, "Sports shows on TV should be about sports, not about politics." End quote. Then more than 6 hours later, he expanded his thoughts with this statement. Quote, "This tweet is not about Jackie Robinson. His significance can never and should never be erased. Breaking the color barrier in baseball in itself is not political. Jesse Owens winning 4 gold medals in itself was not political. Jack Johnson becoming the first black boxing heavyweight champion in itself was not political. They all have political ramifications. They all challenge the status quo of racial barriers to fair play, race relations, and civil rights that should always be acknowledged and never forgotten. They shouldn't be used as an excuse to push political agendas on sports shows on national television to an audience there to consume in sports content."
So let's unpack this, okay? RG3, in my view, is doing the Emmanuel Acho engagement farming Twitter system way of operating, probably doing it so he could dabble in the Twitter revenue model, and also as Emmanuel Acho spilled the beans on, and then I believe deleted the tweet of, "It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong, I'm doing this because it boosts my followers, and then I could show the engagement when I try to get brand deals." When someone puts something like that out, and then they want to cover their tracks with it, it's really hard to not see that Robert Griffin III is probably doing the same, though he has not said that that is what he is doing. He has tweeted that his feed is a safe space on many topics, including, I kid you not, the Gaza Strip, Trump and J.D. Vance embarrassing themselves with an ally in the Oval in President Zelensky, where they chided him on national television, and even Robert Griffin III tweeting about Elon Musk and Doge. What it comes down to is RG3 reacting to Stephen A. Smith, calling out Donald Trump, rightfully so, on this subject, and his admin for removing the Jackie Robinson page. And his whole charade, RG3's, is the same line we heard from this person.
Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
But I will always go back to, why did people turn us on when Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann were hosting? And why are they turning us on now? And in my opinion, it is not to hear about Charlottesville.
Former ESPN anchor Sage Steele. She did the same exact song and dance that Robert Griffin III did. And via awful announcing. Effectively, he's using the popular straw man argument that most stick-to-sports advocates resort to. It's not the message he's taking issue with. It's that this 5-minute segment in a 2-hour show wasn't what he tuned in for.
You trying to tell me politics had nothing to do with that? You trying to tell me when Jack Johnson was fighting in early in the 19th century, you're trying to tell me that had nothing to do with politics, just race? This is what you're trying to tell me? That makes absolutely, positively no sense whatsoever. Okay? We all know that while race may stand alone and as its prevalent issue, politics has been used historically to exercise the muscle necessary to implement racially insensitive policies, if not racist policies. That is a fact. I'm giving you facts. There is no black person alive who would deny that, and there's no white person who could justifiably deny it. At some point in time, my brother, you're going to have to show your hand and stop tap dancing like the late, great Gregory Hines, God rest his soul. And in Gregory Hines' case, I only mean literally tap dancing. Figuratively speaking, you got to stop dancing around issues, brother. You got something to say, say it. If you got a problem with Stephen A., say it by name. What's the problem?
In rebuking Robert Griffin III's tweets, Rod wrote, pitching a new show called RG3 History where we reduce everything to the most basic components so we can hide behind our cowardice. This isn't political. This is just a man who needed a sip of water. We all need H2O. Why people are injecting politics into this is beyond me. This is brilliantly done. He went on, Rosa Parks wasn't political. She just wanted a seat on the bus. Who cares if it was in the front or the back? She needed to get from point A to point B, and that's all that matters. We do a disservice to her legacy to make it about politics. Lastly, Martin Luther King wasn't political. He had a dream of speaking to a lot of people about things, and he was able to do that because he was a gifted orator. That's not political in and of itself. Let's not make his legacy political. Well done. Well done. From an ESPN standpoint.
Let me show you how to be direct. RG3, people at ESPN didn't like you, bro. They didn't like you. You know the names. I said names as in plural. And do you know why I can say that to you, RG3? Because I'm not one of those people. I actually loved you on First Take. Every time you came on First Take, you did a damn good job. Are you ready for this, RG3? Don't faint. The bosses would tell you, I wanted them to keep you. But just because I'm the executive producer of First Take doesn't mean that I get to keep you on the show. It doesn't mean that I get to determine your salary. It doesn't mean that I get to determine whether or not they're willing to pay your salary. And it damn sure doesn't mean that I have anything to do with Monday Night NFL Countdown, which you were a part of. What I'm saying to you is stop with the passive aggressive stuff. That's weak, bro. That's weak. That's exactly the reason why a whole bunch of cats at ESPN had a problem with you, because of that passive aggressive stuff.
So look, Stephen A. Smith has his qualms with RG3. It's fine. You guys duke it out however you wish. What I think is asinine is that I have now covered Robert Griffin III a few different times, and every time I have, he just continues to miss the mark. On his podcast, where he says it's a safe space, it certainly is a safe space. If you are coddling the oppressor in certain scenarios, if you are amplifying the voices that are putting down others for the way that they look or how they identify or who they are simply as a person. He allowed Dana White to not whisper, but scream sweet nothings without being checked in the slightest. Why? Because Robert Griffin III, in my opinion, wants to build his own media company, and is doing this by building his independent podcast, and he wants access to Dana White's guests and guest book that he could then build and leverage. The second, as we covered last week, was when Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson said being gay was a choice. And he would tell his family members who are in the LGBTQ plus community, hey, don't bring that gay stuff over here in front of my kids. That's insane. And what did RG3 do? He bended over backwards like a little schoolgirl and fake laughed. So as I continue seeing this sad excuse of a man now saying that, Jack Johnson, not political. Jackie Robinson, not political. Jesse Owens, after being told that white people are the superior race by a politician, a horrible genocidal politician, and bagging medals in front of that in front of that person who I refuse to say by name. What RG3 is doing is a disservice, a professional disservice. I've said this before, that he is the perfect encapsulation of a centrist, where he tries not to ruffle any feathers and he'll allow anybody to say anything unchecked in order for him to benefit. There are almost too many similarities for the times that we are living in, how one man can continue to not meet the moment. And he is continuing to do it over and over and over again. So when I look at him, it is someone who wants to, in conclusion and recapping, build a media company, allow anyone to say anything, even if it is abhorrently wrong, and continue farming engagement to boost his numbers to then sell the brands. What you have is someone who refuses to meet the moment.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.